came into your store, but I'm not buying anymore. So much for my will. Till the day I die, I will love you still. I walked in through your door. I swore I wouldn't anymore. So much for my word. Until the seas run dry, I will love you still. I wanna love you like there's no tomorrow. If not, I can pretend and play the highlights, or I can lock the door and turn the closed sign. But maybe I should let a little time pass. I look down at the floor, but I'm not crying anymore. So much for my tears. Till the day I die, I will love you still. I don't know what to say, but I like it more that way. A penny for your thoughts, that and more I'd pay, just to hear you say. I wanna love you like there's no tomorrow. If not, I can pretend and play the highlights, or I can lock the door and turn the closed sign. But maybe I should let a little time pass. I came into your store, but you don't work there anymore.
That's a brand new song for Colin Hay from his American Sunshine CD. Colin Hay, welcome.
Nice to be here.
First of all, great album.
Yeah, what's your favourite track?
My favourite one is my favourite one is I Came Into Your Store.
That's my favourite as well.
And it's a very beautiful song.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Now, funny how time flies. It just seems like it was yesterday when men at work were kings of the world.
Yeah, we were kings for a day, maybe a week. It was great, it was a great time.
So were there times that sort of just stood out?
Well, there was lots of special moments, you know. But I mean, when you're in it, you're just in it, and you think, well, this is gonna, you know, this is hopefully going to keep going, you know. But I mean, there were lots of moments like just lots of things when you first arrive in New York. It's exciting enough to arrive in New York, even if you're not kings of the world, you know. But we had singles and albums which were #1, and we arrived in New York, and I would be walking down the street, and people would talk to me, people would call out my name, and they, you know, one of the biggest cities in the world, they knew who I was, and so that had a very surreal quality to it, you know. So I always remember New York was very kind to us, and that was a great memory for me. But there were many memories, like going the first time I went back to Scotland after I'd never been back there for 16 years, and so I went back and we played at the Apollo in Glasgow. That was maybe one of the best shows we ever did. And playing in Milan, where the police had to come and shoot tear gas into the crowd because they wouldn't go home and so forth, you know. So there were lots of great moments, you know.
And from playing pubs with such a small audience to the really large audiences, what was the feeling like? I mean, was it a feeling of awe? Because the pub scene in Australia in those days was very intimate.
Well, I wasn't. I would never call a pub. I would never call a pub gig in Australia intimate.
Actually, pretty right.
That's not what I would use.
Well, close. Almost.
Paralytic
Apparently,
would be a word that I would use. But it was more gradual than people think. I mean, before we made records, we would maybe have 1,000 people who would come to a gig, and so that's quite a lot of people. I mean, an audience is an audience. You know, there were really big ones, and you know, it would go from maybe 1,000 people, and all of a sudden, the biggest crowd I think we played to was the US Festival, which was 150,000 people in the end of 1983. But you know, it's just, if there's a bigger audience, it just goes further back. But you can only kind of, you know, in a sense, relate to a certain amount of people, and then it just becomes, you just have to really project as much as you can. But essentially, you're working, you know, you're playing the same songs and you're singing the same material, and it was. That's what we wanted. You know, we were always a very ambitious band, so you know, at the risk of sounding, you know, arrogant, that's what we always wanted to do. You know, and it became real very quickly. You know, so all of a sudden we were opening up for Fleetwood Mac, and then we had a single which America was the last country to pick up in the band. So by the time it happened, we were kind of ready for it. You know, it's exciting times.
After you finished with Men at Work, how did you feel? I mean, did you because you had all this, you toured the world, you had the world the world was your oyster, or scallop, or sausage, whatever you wanted, but it was there for you to have.
Well, it was very difficult in a way, because it was quite emotional, because the band broke up under very, you know, they weren't very nice circumstances, and it was 6 men together for 5 years, and the way it ended was, you know, in retrospect, you know, may have done things differently. You know, the rhythm section got sacked, you know, which wasn't really very good. In retrospect, I think that bands who travel the world should have a traveling psychologist that can perhaps work out communication problems before they get too bad, because most of the problems were not really insurmountable, but men are not particularly good communicators, you know, when you're in your 20s, or, you know, some men are, but you know, really we were not really good at actually communicating well with one another. So any problems that were there just became bigger. So in the end, they were insurmountable, because they were just, it was over. It was never a band that was destined to go the distance. But after it finished, I felt fantastic, I must say. I mean, I felt great, because I still had a record deal. I could go straight into the studio and keep making records. So I felt fantastic.